We don't have like still reminders for the stream, so I hope you will, just join with time. And we are live right now on X, Abstract, and YouTube. So if you're watching this video after we finish the live stream, please check it on YouTube because that's how you will find the good quality. So today I have a co-host, Rock from Buga, which is just minted out his collection. Hi, Rock. Are you with us now? Okay. No, man, you're ragging. Super ragging. Okay, and Chimpers. Hi, Inside. Super happy to see you here.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. Yeah, good to be on the stream.
That's awesome. I feel like, my first question to you will be like a lot of collection, like, it's in general question, how are you feeling yourself in 2025? Because a lot of new collections appearing, a lot of new blockchains appearing. And I think I'm for the first time making live stream with a person who already have like big successful collection, first collection, right? Because many of guys right now who is minting their new collection, they already have first one, but it's not so famous, if you can say so. And you have like your big brand from the first collection. So I'm wondering how you feel yourself in 2025 when so many things happened. Do you feel like you are in the strongest position right now, or you're like a bit afraid of all these new players and everything? So how it's for you?
No, that's a good question. I think we've had to navigate that throughout the past 3 years anyway. Like since we've been building in the space, there's always shiny new trends, metas that the timeline just talks about so much all at once. It definitely feels like things have become more fragmented with the chains. Whereas previously everything was on ETH, and it was probably one of the reasons why there was so much euphoria on the timeline was everybody was in one place. Everything was like coordinated and together, and that's sort of lost its touch as things have scaled and more chains have come into the equation. But no, I think like at this point in time, Chimpers has built the foundations, built the community, extending beyond Web3 now as well. We're in a position where we feel we're the strongest we've been in the past 2-3 years alone. But there's always that sort of journey that you have to straddle with where you are competing with shiny new things, and there is the popularity contest. So yeah, it's something that we're always sort of navigating. But no, I think in 2025 we're feeling stronger than ever. We're chimping quite hard recently.
Oh my God, that's interesting. So, how do you position yourself right now? Like, and how these collections, like OG collections, I feel your collection is OG and blue chip, we can say so, right? Do you feel like you are example for NFTs? Do you feel like a responsibility for everything that's going on with the NFT space right now, or how it's inside you right now? Or how you position yourself, if we can say so? And
Um, yeah, I think we've had to earn our place for sure. Like over the past like few years, as I say, there's always been shiny new things. Like collections have come and gone over the past 2-3 years. That some people thought was the next big thing, and they've sort of faded away. But our approach has always been to take an organic, community-driven approach, and so that's sometimes to our detriment because we're not playing into the hype, we're not playing into the speculation. We've
yeah,
just been pretty steadfast with Chimpers, in the past few years, irrespective of what's going on. We've never chased it. We've always taken our own sort of approach, which is to, cultivate the community through different activations, building that solid foundation through our story and our art and the experiences that we create, and just focusing on the community that we have, and hoping that people from the outside looking in will be excited to join that. And I think over the past few years we've had to earn our place. I think when we first launched, I think people may have thought Chimpers was super hyped to begin with, and potentially people might have lost interest. But today, when we look around, it's like we are at the forefront of it. We're alongside some of the biggest players in the space, whether people like that or not. I think Chimpers has definitely been able to like sustain our community, and now at the forefront of like bridging into social media, and really being a force for good. And I think now with like NFT brands, there's the whole sort of how are we going to onboard more people? And I think with what we're doing with Chimpers, bridging into the social media realms, and
Yeah.
being a legitimate brand that people can fall in love with, I think is only good for the space. So yeah, I think to answer the question, I might have gone on a tangent a little bit. Yeah, we do feel responsible. As an NFT collection that's been here for a while, and yeah, just taking things day by day and growing the community, and yeah, we're still here.
That's a huge result. Wait, let me please check the mic from Rock
Okay.
at first. Rock, can you hear us? No, we can't hear you for some reason at all. And even I don't see your microphone, so please. Maybe another. Okay, I know that you inside you have like the most loyal community in the whole Web3. When I meet your guys, they're like, "Oh my God, Chimpers is so underrated, so underrated," and like it's people who are literally very passionate about you, and. I can't say like you deserve it through hype, because definitely not. I never saw you participate in some hype things and everything. So you build in quiet, but at the same time you somehow like work with the most loyal audience. How is it like was building from the start, and how you actually made it? Because I feel like all the founders, they want, like they have the same goal at the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah, for sure. I think for us, like taking it back to 2021, Timpers and I launched an artwork series called the Boring Ape Chronicles, which was a derivative artwork series around the Bored Apes. So when they first minted, Timpers decided to create a homage artwork. He was a holder of the Bored Apes and loved the community, and he made this artwork series. And obviously, with Timpers being a prominent artist in the space, people loved that. They wanted to see more, and we built a whole sort of storytelling, gamified rewards experience around this journey.
Storytelling, right? You was the author behind the stories.
Yeah, he
How did
brought me on.
you like try to write something before NFTs, and how?
Yeah, so he brought me on. Like I was just a observer of Timpers. Like he joined the space in early 2021, and started creating NFTs. Creating artworks on Foundation. Collectors were, picking them up through auctions, and it was just that euphoria in 2021. And we'd both just graduated from university at the time, and I decided, well, I'm an English language graduate. I'm gonna sort of put my skills to the test. I created a Substack newsletter, started interviewing founders, creators, and that's why Timpers, like then, as he built that artwork series, he invited me to join him and create some storytelling around it. But we've both always been passionate about building community. So for us, that sort of artwork series was a blueprint for how we could then go on to build Chimpers. So we learned a lot by creating that artwork series where there was 100 collectors. So it was very tight knit, very small, but we was able to figure out what people like, what they value, what they enjoy doing. So when that series concluded and the story ended, and there was appetite for the Timpers to create his own collection, that's we applied all our learnings into Chimpers, and brought the sort of flavors of what that made that journey so special into like our community building. But yeah, to like answer the question, I think the way that we've been able to cultivate such a strong community over the past few years is really focusing on like just the foundations. You know, there's only so far a collection can go that doesn't have any substance. So we built a story. We, you know, created a chronicle, a novel, a series around Chimpers. We created the dojo, this sort of gamified staking hub where all Chimpers students train in, and every day they can go there, battle versus other Chimpers in head-to-head battles. They can go on adventures where they, you know, spin a dice every day and can earn rewards. And we built, you know, mini game sort of arcades around the Chimpers story where they could, you know, participate. And alongside all of those other things, while we're building this core story, we had sub activations where we had an art foundation where we collected work from artists. We had a creators academy where we
Can
inspired creators.
I
So
ask you about Art Foundation? How it's working for you? I never
yeah,
heard.
so yeah, the Art Foundation, obviously with Chimpers being an artist-led project with Timpers at the helm of it, we as soon as we minted in May 2022, we created an art foundation where we held monthly contests. We collected works from artists who weren't even in the community, and we would display them in our on cyber gallery. So we was creating this and giving back to creators, essentially. And what that did was, you know, encourage more and more people to create art around Chimpers. We were able to, you know, work with some of those very artists that we collected on bigger initiatives like, you know, collectible card sets, adventure series, you know, all other things. And I think, yeah, when we was like focused on giving back and nurturing the community, it's helped to build that loyal, you know, collector group within Chimpers. I think being in the trenches, you know, being in Twitter every single day, being in Discord, you know, just being so accessible to the community, whether it's one-to-one messages or calls, you know, we're like right amongst it all. We're not like up here. So it's that we think has been able to contribute to the longevity of the community and giving them the tools to like be ambassadors, be advocates for Chimpers. Like you say, you've met people that are so passionate about Chimpers, and they probably tell you, you know, you need to get a chimp and you
Yes.
should, join this collectible card drop we've just done with Final Bosu. So you know, we've always looked to try and empower the community so that, you know, they can feel that they have a responsibility to, you know, help grow the brand and help, you know, just contribute to more and more people falling in love with Chimpers. So yeah.
That's actually interesting, you know, and I feel like you said a very important thing, like you accessible to your audience, right, through many channels and everything. And I have a feeling like now collections and just founders trying to be less accessible to show their status, if you can say so, right? Most of the guys trying to build even discard, you know, that you need to deserve your role and everything. And it's like show founder less accessible, and that's how in their eyes maybe he looks more cool. And how it's for you, like do you feel like you're losing with not using this strategy, you know, or it's like opposite and you're winning through because of it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's that mysterious sort of
Yeah, yeah.
effect of like, you know, if you're not present, you're building these cool things, and you know, as a founder, you're very busy. It's, all every second of the day, you're doing something, and yeah, Rock can attest to that as well. I'm sure he's like non-stop every single day, you're passionate about just growing it far and wide. But yeah, like for me, I even, some people don't even realize I'm a co-founder because of the approach I take. Like, I'm just so everywhere that, people just see me as a community champion. But I think I'm just so passionate about Chimpers. The team are just so passionate about it. We feel an obligation to be present and to help, spur on the community in whatever way we can. So yeah, while we could be a bit more mysterious, we've always taken that sort of front-facing approach and being accessible. And yeah, I think it's maybe it doesn't work for everyone, but it's just something that we've always stuck by.
You said about rock, and while you're telling, about stories behind Chimpers and everything, I feel like something similar here. Rock, do you feel it? And how is like? Wait, try to say something, please. I'm afraid that. Oh, yeah.
Okay, I think we're good. Are we
Yes,
good or
yes,
not?
I made you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, for for some reason, yeah, I had quite a lot of difficulties here. It's been a long week with very little sleep, very hardcore, and just a lot of stuff happening in the background, trying to make sure we're ready. Yeah, so today is Booga's Mint, and Boogas are finally on chain after such a long time, and we are currently in different times. Each time you kind of need to adapt to that. I guess I love what Chimpers is doing with the organic approach, right? And it's something that we are very passionate about as well. And I'm very approachable, so I can relate to insight on that. One thing that I hate doing is all of these kind of mind games and tricks to try to trick people into doing stuff. So like we always tried to avoid that and tried to avoid chasing the meta as well. Just like we're here for the long run. And I believe like what you said, Insight, with regards to you guys, it over time, people start seeing the things that really matter in this space, right? And I guess once you actually succeed at your growth in the Web 2 side, that will just explode you guys in the Web 3, right? Because the biggest issue is just people are in it for the wrong reasons, right? I'm not saying everyone, but the majority of people in Web 3, they're just here for the money, right? They're not even looking to be part of a passionate community, right? So that is, I guess, one of the issues that we are facing. By we, I mean looking for the long run and looking for passionate communities that they can share their ideas with and grow alongside. So I'm excited to see how this space evolves. I believe we're entering this kind of era where people are tired. They don't want this, what has been happening for the last year or two. So I'm really hoping that we can kind of breach outside of it and kind of be able to create something meaningful with the right people as well. Because like when you're going to war, you need real soldiers, not mercenaries. So it's something that I'm truly proud of, that we've got a bunch of people that are diehards, and it's a hard game at the moment. I'm not gonna lie. At the moment, it's like really tough. And if someone would ask me if I'm slightly jealous, we didn't launch like in 2021. Yeah, of course I am. But we have what we have. Boogas is for the long run. We've got all of our plans and milestones and everything. So regardless of anything else, this brand is happening, and our dreams are going to happen because we want it to succeed. And I feel like we've got the right ingredients, and it's a hard task. Nothing comes easy in life, and growing out a brand is nothing short of spectacular, so we just need to put in the work and reach a bigger audience, right? Like, I guess this, what you guys are really nailing at the moment, is your Web 2 socials. If you can manage to convert the eyes into fans, and then fans into super fans, I think that would be really cool. And I'm excited to see it. And the brands with the best stories will win. And you guys have an awesome story. So I'm excited to see how it evolves.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, that you guys touched very interesting topic, and I really wondering inside how you see right now your interaction with Web2 audience, and will you try to onboard them to crypto, or you will try to put Chimpers on the Web2 market and somehow work with Web2 audience? And I know that you're launching right now toys, IRL, like physicals, which is pretty cool, and I really like it. So how you like see a future with the Web 2?
Yeah, for sure. Like it's definitely been an evolution. Like it, as I mentioned, like early on, like all of those community building initiatives and the sort of culture building in the first year or two was like extremely important. But then for us to achieve our ambitions of, seeing Chimpers extend to a multimedia brand, we had to sort of figure out how could we do that? How we have to step out of the space. We have to set up our social media accounts, and we sort of landed on the concept of Chimpy, who is this sort of mascot for us. This little chimp that can't quite yet train in the dojo, but embarks on all of these sort of silly adventures. And the friends that they sort of engage with are these like octopuses and a duck and a bird, and they're all traits within the Chimpers collection. So it's we created this like amalgamation of like sort of feelings and themes within the Chimpers universe and packaged it into this more mass appeal, far-reaching content. And yeah, that was in 2023, and we initially just decided we'd experiment. And fast forward like 2 years later, we're almost 1.8 million followers across all our socials, and we're step by step building the foundations of the brand, actually building that brand equity by being present at trade shows like the Licensing Expo or Comic-Con or New York Toy Fair. We've had that presence over the past 2 years, and putting ourselves out there and planting the flag in the ground that Chimpers is the social media digital first character brand, but also one that is here to really sort of be a focal part of digital first character brands. So yeah, it's been a journey like over the past 2 years, and the way that we've done it, like similar to other like Web3 IPs, is sort of leaning into the content and meeting them where they're at. So the audiences on Instagram and TikTok, etc., they're not trying to extract any value at all. They just want to engage with cute, relatable characters that have a strong story, and that they can sort of draw inwards into their own lives every single day because it makes them feel good. So that's what we've leaned heavily into. And obviously that's the way that we can sort of build that sort of brand. And like Rock said, build that 1,000 fans, 1,000,000 fans into super fans. And yeah, we see that in the long term for why that actually matters for Chimpers is, when you start to see the social content evolve into physicals, like our plush blind box series that we launch in, or you see Chimpers in a store on the shelves, that's when real sort of discovery happens for the brand, and only legitimizes the space. Chimpers are representing Web3. We're a Web3 born IP, and we're proving that it's not just all about the casino, and it's there's characters and entertainment that comes from the space that can have real success. So yeah, we've been really building this content engine, building the foundations of the brand by being present at expos, and now we're entering this next chapter where we're actually launching into the physical world with our first major products that we're releasing, with some exciting plans. So yeah, it's all of these things are adding sort of relevance and long-term sort of significance to Chimpers, and that's all going to circle back to this sort of core ecosystem that we've been building along the way. But yeah, that's how we've been sort of thinking about it.
That's interesting. So, I wanted to ask you, like, for example, Pachi, they're building to onboarding people through this comfortable wallet and everything, and user experience that people can, just open abstract and try everything basically what we have in Web3. Azuki, for example, they're rooting to anime culture, anime industry, and want to develop themselves there. And your goal as in Chimpers is developing your IPs and develop brands like this, or
Yeah.
you see some niche, some another niche maybe that we don't see right now.
So yeah, like for us, we've always seen Chimpers like extending to be this sort of multimedia brand, whether it's into games, whether it's sort of experiences or social media content. We're now sort of the way that we see like the gap for Chimpers is like we want to become the most iconic and lovable chimp world that there is in pop culture and in mainstream eyes. They see Chimpers this sort of chimp universe as this lifestyle character brand that people just draw inwards into their life every single day. And yeah, you mentioned like how would we intend to onboard them into the Chimpers ecosystem, and we obviously have with our partnership with 223, who are going to be releasing our blind box plush line. They have a unique angle in that they have J Corp, which is like their main entity, that they work with all of these different legacy IPs like Marvel, like Star Wars, or they work with so many different brands. And J Corp has a spin-off sort of sub company called 223, and they're helping to like bring digital brands like Chimpers into their distribution network, and using their supply chain to be able to create these products. But they have a tech angle. These plush keychains, you'll be able to tap them and redeem a proof of authenticity NFT. And with that, you'll be able to redeem Chimpers collectible cards as well. You had that sort of experience with the final Bosu World and Chimpers with the collectible pack rips.
Cool. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, so that's like a vehicle for us. We have this sort of rip and pack sort of mechanism that we can tie to these plushies that allows them to redeem digital souvenirs that they can collect, and that's all on chain but under the hood. So it's a simple but effective way of allowing them to collect something that they understand. It's not something super complex. They don't have to do anything, but they're able to get onboarded into the Chimpers digital world that way. So yeah, for us, like we see Chimpers as our unique angle is that we have this really strong story driven world that when people explore they can get lost in. But on the front facing part of things, we want to be the most loved chimp world that there is. And whether that's through like social media, whether it's through physicals, and really leaning into the sort of lifestyle character brand world, that's where we're sort of angling Chimpers right now.
That's cool. But I have a question right now. Like again about Azuki, they position themselves as an anime. Paji as this onboarding again, abstract and everything. And you rock, and you inside you building IPs, your own IPs, and you don't position yourself as you belong to something more. You like building on your own. What's like the hardest part of building your own IPs, and how it's working for you? Because to convince people that your idea is awesome, I feel like that's why you probably know about this, right? So everyone writing like Chimpers is so underrated, and this is true. Like you don't have this hype around you, but you have the strongest community. So I believe like maybe you don't have this hype because you don't position yourself as belonging to something more. You build your own IP. So how it's for you? Can you explain?
Yeah, I see. Like it's for us, like we've never bucketed ourselves into one sort of category. And I think, you know, the success of like evolving over time has been allowed us to do what we've been able to do. But yeah, I think for Chimpers, you know, we, you know, although the, you know, that we could say we're just this one thing, for us, we've always just, like you say, hype is like a big part of things, but for us, it's just small moves over time that compound, you know, step by step, and over time, people will come to see that, you know, it's almost impossible to ignore like where we're at right now. We're, you know, one of the biggest Web3 IPs on social media, on TikTok. We're, you know, number one. We're, you know, now launching our physical products that will have not just online appeal, but will be entering into the physical domain, you know, in the, you know, on shelves and in real locations where people can find Chimpers and, you know, take a piece of that in their hands and fall in love with it. So there's all these different parts of things, but we're not doing it just independently. We are, you know, leaning into collaborations, you know, whether it's on the Web3 side through the collectible card app, you know, tapping into different chains like Abstract or Ape Chain, or Base. You know, we're able to do these, you know, fun experiences that allows us to expand our like on-chain footprint and community, whether it's on Ton with Telegram. You know, Chimpers has one of the top 4 market caps on Telegram stickers, and that's the approach that we've taken. We took it small, we took it delicately with the community in mind, so that we wasn't just being extractive, and that's allowed us to build a real solid foundation with the Ton community. So on the Web2 side, we're, you know, approaching collaborations. On the social media side, we did a collab with Kung Fu Tea, you know, a boba chain in the US, which is one of the biggest, and we did a digital campaign with them, and it trumped some of the metrics that they've done with legacy brands like Lord of the Rings or Strawberry Shortcake. And you know, we're doing that with other character brands, Meat Quack, Jogaman from Line Friends. So our strategy is to obviously position ourselves as this sort of chimp world that will be the most loved character, but also, you know, there's a lot of value in collaborating and being collaborative with other communities, other ecosystems, and other brands, so that we can, you know, just garner more eyeballs, garner more attention, and you know, build that into more love for Chimpers. And yeah, like it's not just one big hype event; it's just small events that keep compounding over time, over and over and over, until you know, it's impossible to ignore the work that's been achieved and the position that we're in.
That's I love this words, that project and the idea that you can't ignore. That's brilliant. Really love it. And yeah, my question is, you know, you said all of this, and I see where you're going, maybe, but the audience, how you see your audience, because like I feel to scale what you're doing, you need to focus on kids as your audience, you know, with this plushies and your stories and everything. So I feel like you grow in your own audience, like anime, for example, did, right? That's why anime now so huge, because like basically they invested in us who was kids, and now we love anime being adults, and we are ready to spend our money on something like
Yeah,
that.
no,
So
for sure.
yeah, I feel like for you it would be also, you know, to the way to invest in kids, and somehow
Yeah, I
this.
mean, I think the cool thing about Chimpers is the way that the IP has been built, like originally by Timpers, and now it's been, you know, extended into other art styles and formats. Like it's so multifaceted in that anybody can enjoy it and fall in love with it, whether you're a kid, whether you're, you know, female, 18 years old onwards to, you know, 50 years old, who, you know, they're the consumers of our content on social media. This sort of kidult demographic. You know, it's 18 to 50-year-old people that consume our content on a daily basis, and it's not even kids, you know, that they love our content because they love the character. So that's the sort of audience that we're positioning Chimpers to. And you know, you've seen the rise of like other lifestyle character brands over the years. You know, we're inspired by like so many, like Miffy or Ugly Dolls and David Horvath, who is also in the space, and obviously with Pop Mart and the Labubu craze. On the face of it, it sounds like it's sort of come out of nowhere, but they've been building their community over the past few years, a decade almost, and that sort of female audience that fall in love with lifestyle character brands and consumer products like plushies and keychains, and homeware and gifts. So that's where we're sort of positioning Chimpers to attack. And at the same time, obviously, like in like pop culture, like you say, you start young, and then you're able to capture that sort of long-term fan like over life. They see you at the start, and then they continually fall in love with you. And we're expanding into other formats where we can potentially do that, like Minecraft or Roblox, where there are sort of young audiences that participate in games every single day. So yeah, we do cast the net quite wide, but in terms of like just our social media, it's a very sort of female led demographic that we're sort of really leaning into. But at the same time, it's, yeah, like I say, Chimpers it's so multifaceted that anybody can enjoy it. Like whether you're in the Web3 community, whether you're a gamer that has played our Minecraft server, or you're someone on social media, or someone who finds a product in a store. Yeah, we're quite diverse.
You said something that really like interests me. You said before that when you start building Chimpers, you notice that people like something, people don't like something, and everything. When you building business in Web2 IRL, you at first thinking what people like and trying to build your product for the audience in advance. So how it's working in Web3? Do you like now you planning something knowing that people like, and especially for them, or you still experimenting more, and how it's matched with your personal taste and ambitious? How it's working?
Yeah, I think a good question. I think originally, like with Chimpers, like it was very much just an artist-led series. We didn't have like huge expectations, and the hype that formed around it, sort of took us back a little bit because we never thought it would get so big at the time. So all of a sudden, it was we're having to dive down all of these different rabbit holes to explore like what the community loves and experiment. And I think that in the first year or two, it was very experimental. But as we've evolved, and how we've seen what people like, I think it has helped shape our direction. And there has been many cases where the community have been involved in that process and helped shape our sort of direction. And I think if you're not leaning into like the community for those sort of thoughts and feedback, it's you're missing a trick. But there has to be that sort of like North Star as well. And I think that's what we found during that 2023 period where we started creating socials content, and we could really see that Chimpers could evolve into this sort of lifestyle character brand that could really become like a beacon of like love and joy for many people, and a way for us to onboard more people into the Chimpers universe. So I think it's definitely like shifted over like the year or two, that we've like taken that more brand focused approach. But even to this day, like the community are at the heart of it. And you wouldn't be in Web3 if it wasn't for that sort of decentralized sort of collaborative process. And I think the cool thing with Chimpers and many other Web3 IPs that have been successful, they've heavily leaned into the community to help co-create things. And for us in particular, we've always done that. Whether it's art for collectible cards and featuring them into the projects that we do, or creating animations. We lean into the community for that. We don't look outside. We always look inwards. And the funny thing about it is the social media that we have today and the art that you see on there is built and designed by two community members of Chimpers, Katist and Lulu, who originally they were just holders. They collected the NFTs. They started creating fan art, and then we brought them on board to help shape our sort of brand and create the social media content. And I think overall, like, as your question was, it's I think in Web3, if you're not sort of like leaning into the community for what they would love, you're missing a trick. But at the same time, we do have this master plan that we see Chimpers taking, and I think aligning the community on that and just being present, being transparent about it is what helps rally everyone around it. And that's just what we've been trying to do the past few years.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I really love how it sounds, and I see you guys, they're so active. And guys, thank you so much for attending on YouTube. It's so rare still to receive some comments from YouTube, so thank you so much. It really means a lot. And my next question will be like that's so cool at first that you're giving opportunities to your community members and grow with them together, and that's now they officially work on you. That's awesome. But also my question, what people are receiving right now by joining Chimpers, and what's like for those who knew, for example, or for those who don't know, what's the way to join Chimpers right now? How people can do this?
Yeah, so if you're joining Chimpers today, you're joining one of the most active and engaged NFT projects on ETH. I think we've, as I said, like over the past few years, really cultivated a strong community and a team that really gives back to empower them, whether it's various initiatives. If you're an artist, if you're a creator, if you're a brand builder, we look to give you the tools to help you grow alongside us on the journey for Chimpers to become one of the most loved chimp universes. And we're at the forefront of social media. We're breaking through bigger than ever into the Web2 space and really sort of leading the way on that respect. So I think being on that journey is like really exciting. But with Chimpers, you can always expect that we're going to give back to the community. We're going to involve you in the journey and the process. And I think that's what does set us apart from a lot of other collections. It's that sort of homegrown, like organic approach that we take that really makes you feel a part of it. And we're leading this sort of NFT brand sort of direction right now alongside some of the other biggest players in the space. So if you want to join, there's various ways, whether it's through the main Chimpers collection. There's the 5,555 Chimpers. So it's half the supply of like many of the others. We have our 100 one of ones that are the heroes of the universe. They're the Genesis Chimpers. They're a lot more scarce and premium. But then we have the other sort of low barrier to entry ways to join the community. We have collectible cards. We have collectible releases where you can rip packs, join the Discord, get your Discord role. We have fun giveaways, etc. with those releases. And even if you're not any of those, you can join as a creator. We have a monthly creator program where you can join as a creator, create content, and every single month you have the chance to win a Chimpers NFT to actually join the community. So,
real? Wait, how it's actually working? That's pretty interesting, I think, for everyone. I didn't know that you have this. Tell me.
Yeah, so like Craig, I'm sure you know Craig, like he runs the creator series. So there's a Discord channel in our community where we release creator missions. We encourage creators to create content around Chimpers in their own style or format, whatever they feel is best to translate it. And every month, like we have a final sort of decision-making process, like who was the best creator that month, and they have the opportunity to then win the NFT and join the community. So it's a really cool way of like extending a way for people to join who might not necessarily have the means to do so, and just create a really strong community. But yeah, we're always finding ways to give back and involve people in the journey, and yeah, I think that's the best ways to get involved right now.
This is amazing. I really love to hear it because my questions right now, okay, I have like money to buy Chimpers, but also, I need to think right now where I need to invest and everything. And I like, do you have your token right now, or like, will you plan some token for holders, maybe something like this?
We don't, as
Did
of
you
right now.
train with tokens? Wait, when everyone was creating it.
Yeah, there was obviously the sort of craze around it several months ago, maybe, but no, we don't right now. We have all of the sort of cards under our sleeve that eventually we could maybe sort of deploy, but it's not the right time for us at the moment. We're in this sort of trajectory now where we're so focused on making that big step into the Web2 space and building traction for the brand, and at some point then it could be something that may be feasible, but yeah, I think the sort of main value from Chimpers is that we have all of these initiatives, we have all of these gamified reward experiences, and just being a part of the community that will inevitably become one of the most loved character IPs that is born out of Web3 space is something that's quite special. And as I mentioned, that this isn't us just like on our high horse and building without being involved. Like we're always finding ways to give back to the community in various ways. I'm sure you saw like the ton Telegram stickers as well, and we gave all of the featured holders in that an NFT prize, and finding ways just to give back in fun and organic ways is what our sort of mantra has been. But yeah, if you're joining Chimpers right now, you're joining a really powerful community at the core of it.
Mm-hmm. Adore to hear it. And my last question is about what you're receiving as a part of community, because that's why I want, like, I have a mental only, but in Azuki OG, that's why I want it so much. They all the time making some drops, for you if you're a holder and everything. Do you have the same with Chimpers, collaborations with some projects that's giving you airdrops without you doing something? And
Yeah, we do. Like I'd say the Chimpers Alpha sort of sub community is one of the strongest. We have Jax, who's a Chimpers holder, who is our collab manager, and yeah, like over the past 2 years, like Chimpers have had pretty much every opportunity that you could probably think of in terms of sort of value opportunities or community sort of chances to join new communities, all of these sort of raffles and giveaways that take place in our Discord on a regular basis. And we have one of the best collab managers in Jax, who's a Chimpers holder. There's always something that's going on in that. So yeah, there's various ways that Chimpers has been able to invite the community to get extra perks, and be able to just get involved in as many things as possible.
I love to hear it, and I feel like if everyone thinking about purchasing Chimp, we have all reasons right now, guys. And also, I have like comment from DJ, please don't make a token, please. So you
Yeah.
can actually don't want it. Yeah, so let's finish with this question, and my next question is about you and how you earn money right now from your projects, because you only have like 5,000, right? Like we don't have any more how it's named, oh my god, percentage from sellings, from the secondary market, which I think really motivated a lot of artists to continue their way. And that's why we see like a lot of artists like stop doing their like something related to their collections, because like they don't see any profit anymore, sadly. And you not making token. So how you earn money from your project right now? What is working for you? And do you think like you can earn money from TikTok and social media, for example, or you do it only for like, for
Yes,
Mhm.
it's a good question. I think like with Chimpers, we're a very small team. We've always operated very frugally and very carefully, I'd say, in terms of managing the runway of what we have. And yeah, we've been able to operate in a way that we're not burning so much all the time. And irrespective of like royalties being out of the equation, um, you know we've been able to sustain ourselves over the past few years through releasing drops. We have our card app, which is a vehicle for us to expand into other ecosystems through these sales, and also now having these sorts of opportunities to collaborate, whether it's on Telegram, through the card app. But primarily for us, we've been trying to establish the foundations for the brand building. Social media, you're not necessarily going to be able to monetize that directly, but it's through like what we've done on the licensing side of things. We brought on our licensing team in the US, Playwell, who've been able to help us bring on our licensee J Corp 223, who are now going to be able to, for us, help bring products to market, not just online drops through online sales, but also in the real world through like physical spaces and tapping into retail channels. So the potential there for us to grow has become massive over the past few months, and we're now at that sort of intersection where next month we're releasing that sort of pre-order for the blind box keychain sale. I mentioned to you that it's the big piece of news that we have upcoming. It's this big step for us into the physical space. So for the
Yeah.
first time, people will be able to, not just Chimpers holders, everybody in the space, and also our Web2 social audience will be marketing it to them. You'll be able to get the chance to, collect these first edition blind boxes, which will be an online sale. There'll be fun rewards around it. You'll be able to tap your plush keychain to collect things. And yeah, it's not just there. It's not ending there. It's the start of something much bigger for us now. We're in this sort of sprint to not just activate online, but start activating these product lines into physical channels offline. So that's something that is definitely everyone should get involved in. It's going to be yeah, super exciting. I think for us now, you know it's going to be able to help us activate even further into Web2 channels, and really show that there's that sort of proof of the Web3 community and how powerful it can be, and how it can really accelerate brand growth. And for us, this is that sort of big next step. So yeah, but to answer the question, we've definitely been able to operate quite frugally over the past few years, and through different drops and through different activations. But now the big question for everyone is, where do you make money outside of the space that isn't necessarily just a token where you can create that value extraction, or continually rinse drops to the Web3 community. For us, we've got our eyes set on how can we monetize Chimpers outside of the space, and the 223 partnership is a big step towards being able to do that. So it's exciting, and yeah, just keen for everyone to get involved in it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like the way you can monetize your new Web2 audience is the perfect way right now for projects, right? But still, do you think about second collection that you can make, because you have again on the like five, or you will like you aim to grow in price and make it like real,
Yeah.
how do you?
we don't see Chimpers having a second collection anytime soon. Like the 5,555 is like the ultimate scarcity of, like we're half the supply of other collections. But yeah, to your point, like it's a detriment in some ways because there's less people that are shouting about it on the timeline because there's less. We have 2,500 holders, but that's why we're being strategic with the card app. It's a vehicle for us to expand into other chains, whether it was with Final, Bosu, and Abstract. We bring on new holders at a lower level. They might not necessarily be Chimpers NFT holders, but they can fall in love with Chimpers, work their way up to that, and still be involved in the ecosystem. And so far on the card app, we've been able to garner 12,000 signups of just Web3 community members, and I think that's really important as NFT projects are growing. It's always about how you expand the community without diluting it, without taking value away from the community, but always keeping in mind like how can we grow the community to benefit them and benefit the overall brand. So that's always been our approach, and it's why we're very delicate around not rushing into a second collection, not rushing into creating a random token, or just being strategic about the way that we expand our like on-chain footprint. And yeah, it's going to be exciting to not just continually expand across chains through Web3 with the card app, but now in the Web2 space with our physical channels being unlocked through 223 and the merchandise and the plushies. That sort of tech integration within them with NFC chips, we'll be able to onboard a whole new, number of, fans that, we'll be able to turn into Chimpers super fans. So it's, definitely exciting.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. And also, I love your site so much. It's so comfortable, so fun, So, yeah, and I believe in all your collaborations. But my question, last probably in this way, will be you see like a lot of brands right now, including Final Boss, they're trying to build their own APs. And for them, I believe like it's super hard right now because their level of noise is crazy and everything. So, what advices you will you will give to projects that trying to build their own APs and don't want to belong like anime or something like something bigger as we talked before? What free advice?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Like Rock was saying earlier, like he wished he'd launched in 2021, and yeah, I definitely don't envy anybody trying to launch in today's market. There's so much competition. There's a lot of fragmentation amongst communities, and there's not hardly any new entrants to the space. It's the same group of people, so it's always bouncing between communities, and it's just one of those things that if you do want to create an NFT collection, there has to be a reason for it, and you have to feel that you have a unique angle that can encourage people to get behind. For us, like back in 2021, it was we built our community over a year and then launched Chimpers, and there was a real appetite for Chimpers to launch because of Timpers as the artist, and people wanted to see his characters come to life. So there has to be a reason, and I think any form of advice I think anybody that would give that's building in the space is just to be relentlessly consistent, and there's no room for giving up. Like there's so many different paths that you can take, and you might necessarily be led down different paths along the way, but if you're consistent and just transparent with your community, I think there's no way that you can lose. And yeah, for us, that's always been our mindset. Just be consistent, have our North Star vision, and just continually build towards it. And people might not be hyping about Chimpers every single day. People might not be mentioning us on the timeline every single day. But when we make those important milestones and get real brand traction, people will start to look at that and value it. And I think everybody sort of is hoping that, you know, the space starts to value that sort of consistent, relentless building, as opposed to, you know, chasing a new shiny thing that, you know, might not necessarily be around for a long time. But yeah, I think just to, you know, if you're a new collection launching, just have your like your North Star, your principles, and yeah, just really attack it and be relentless with it. And you can't really lose if you do that. So yeah, and you know, there's although I said that, you know, there's a lot of competition, you know, this space is still so small. It's tiny compared to, you know, other spaces. And yes, there might be like collections that have a high floor price and might be, you know, crowned as the number one or the most popular, but there's no rule stating that, you know, multiple people can win in the space. You know, there has to be multiple success stories for the space to grow and for people to want to enter the space. So I think finding ways to onboard people into Web3 and really sort of relentlessly building towards that and being a success story that, you know, people can fall in love with your brand is really important. And that's what we see with Chimpers. You know, we really do feel that, you know, we're at a point now where we can, you know, really start to bring people into the space and build more love and attention for the brand. And I think, yeah, if that's your goal, it's a really important one.
I love this answer again. And, you know, I'm asking because I want to create my own project soon. It will be like dark comic project just to support people's mental health and everything. So I'm just start, you know, thinking about it and working, talking with the devs, etc. So that's what I'm asking. And I want to develop my own IPs as well. So I don't want to belong like any community. Like, I mean, in the way that position myself as an anime or something like that, because I feel like it can be good, but it also can be bad, because all anime projects, for example, they compared with Azuki, and that's how they are losing as well. You know, it's hard to, and when you have your own IPs, yes, it's harder, as we talked before, right, to grow your brand and everything, because you like basically you have only yourself, and you trying to like get other people believing in yourself and your idea, which is I think harder. So my question is, what's the quickest and the most effective maybe way to find your people and your own, like, you know, target audience with who you will be the same mindsets, the same vision, uh, through what? Because I heard before on spaces that through collaboration with another projects, for example, not with bloggers. That's what give you like with the same projects as you, probably, you know, with the same.
Yeah, I think, you know, that's super exciting. I think the way that you described it, I don't think there's very many dark sort of,
Yeah.
is it, I don't, gothic or like maybe sort of, yeah, that sort of dark inspired vibe. Like there's not that within the space. So that is exactly perfect for such a, you know, a way for people to get behind. And I think, yeah, the only way to really do that is to, you know, just take your time in just putting your message out there and joining different communities and sort of just letting people learn more about it slowly and organically. I think you know, Fugs, who launched recently on Abstracts, had, you know, such a great way of doing that. They, you know, they didn't launch right away, and it was just there. You know, everybody can collect the collection. They, you know, put in months of groundwork into, you know, telling people about the vision, telling people about the story, you know, giving teasers about what it might look like, and just setting the tone of you know, what you're trying to build. And it doesn't necessarily mean you need to launch the NFTs right away. You just, you
No,
know,
it even won't be NFTs, because I don't want to, you know, extract for people some money. I want them to read my story, and somehow those who want to support me will be rewarded. But I don't want to actually build all these NFT collections. For me, it's like no.
yeah, I mean, exactly. It's one of those things. you just want to find your tribe, and when you put yourself out there, people will be drawn to it, and you can build that tight-knit community that can sort of grow and grow until you get to a point in which you feel like this can really come to life and be amplified by sort of launching an NFT collection. I feel like that sort of mindset is the best one to have when it comes to when you definitely want to create a community, for sure.
Yeah, thank you, Zaps. And I was literally surprised when I start talking about my idea only like week and a half ago, something like that, with some people that I trust. And I was surprised that so many people like actually ready to believe in myself even more than me. So guys, if you're hesitating with your ideas, just share it with the audience. I believe like in Web3 we have like the most open-minded people, and if you have some audience that you built for years, they will be supporting you. I was surprised that it happened. So I believe like for you it's a huge inspiration as well that you have your audience who is all the time like your cheerleaders.
Yeah, I mean, even yourself, Ira, I think that you've been around in the space for like several years, and have been showing up and creating value for people through these podcasts and spaces, and community moderation and things like that. And I think it's that sort of thing that attracts other people to it, is that there's like a genuine sort of intent, and people buy into like people at the end of the day. And when you build that community, people want to support it. So yeah, I think again, like anybody looking to create something, it's like just building that like personable brand that people can really get behind as well. But yeah, it's really interesting. It sounds like it gives me like Gloomy Bear vibes, and that sort of direction. So
Can I take your advice when I will be ready to share something more, to write to you and ask your opinion?
yeah, sure. I mean, if you value it so much, yeah, I'm always open to it. I'm definitely not an expert, like with anything. Like I don't think anybody that claims to be an expert can be one. We just just navigate in the space, and I think it's good when we can all share, what works, what doesn't, and yeah, I'm not a fan of the sort of PvP popularity contest. It's all about the collaborative energy. So yeah, yourself, anybody who's open to chatting, I'm always open to. So yeah, definitely, for sure.
Thank you so much. And let's do my final round of questions. It's a blitz question, so you can answer just quickly. Do not explain your answer too much if you don't want to. And that's all. I ask every my guest about this. Okay. Full centralization for everyone or full like decentralization? What would you choose?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Centralization for everyone or decentralization for everyone? What you would choose?
Decentralization. I can't explain it, can I? It's just one word answer.
Let's go. Let's go.
Okay.
You want to explain it or not?
Oh, I was asking, like, it's the rule not to
If
explain
you
it.
can, then yes. Just in few sentences, maybe.
Oh, I just say it would be wrong of me, like in the Web3 space, not to give that answer. So,
Okay. Doxing or undoxing for everyone again? Like you need to register with your passport, pass KYC to go on the internet, or like everyone is undoxed.
I'd say doxing. Yeah.
You feel like it's important for a founder to be doxed?
Yeah, I think there was definitely value to being undoxed in the premature phases of like the NFT community, and I think a lot of people were. But as we realized that people are buying into people, and they want to trust them, they want to be able to be able to back them with their full trust. You have to be present, you have to be front facing. So yeah, it's definitely important. But I'm sure there's examples of people who have been able to do it without doxing. But yeah.
Okay. What would you ask, or about what you would talk with Satoshi Nakamoto if you would meet him in person?
Like how he's so insanely clever. I'd love to understand how a genius mind works.
Okay, okay. Your like, what do you think? Who is it?
What was that again? Could you repeat it?
What? Sorry. Who do you think Satoshi Nakamoto? Do you have any suggestions in your head? Any options?
No, honestly, I have zero idea. I couldn't say.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Korki from Chinzoku suggested that Satoshi already dead, probably. Mintify Jake, he said like it can be a woman. And who's that? It was tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow we had a big collector on the call. His name is Will, and he said like maybe Satoshi is X copy.
X copy. Yeah, I mean, everyone said,
Yeah.
who is X copy? Yeah, that's a very interesting phenomenon of identity as well, I think. Yeah, it's funny that Timpers and I were at a known origin event in 2021, and it was this event in Manchester, and there was a rumor that X copy was there. And Timpers DM'd him, asking, "Are you there? Like, was you there?" And he just replied back to Timpers with a very sort of lucrative answer of like, "I'm everywhere" or something along those lines. So we may have been in the vicinity of X copy. I think he's in the UK, so it makes sense. But yeah, an interesting one.
That's awesome. Okay. What art you would like to have at home? Just, like physical art or
I have Pokemon like on my wall here. There's Pokemon digital art, of physical frame, sorry. But as an artist, maybe like a digital artist that I would love to have in my home, I'd probably say DK. I think his like Let's Walk like animations are so cool. So yeah, I just never get around to doing it. There's just too much going on. But yeah, he would be great if someone could give me one. That'd be great.
Yes, you heard it.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question is about money, and let's ask. So, do you still living in the money from your minting, or this money is not existing anymore? And how it's working for you? Because I am asking this question for everyone, so people who listen us, they could decide. Do like if they thinking about money when they creating their own collection, what they need to expect and everything, so they could understand the example of their favorite founder or artist, for example.
Yeah, I think like we're definitely in a fortunate position where we had a successful mint, we've had successful drops along the way. We're very fortunate with Timpers being an artist. He's able to work on various things. He's working on a Red Bull racing collectible series with Abstract right now. So yeah, like we've been able to like sustain ourselves since mint. But obviously it's a different sort of landscape now, and it would be it is difficult to get that sort of traction that back then a lot of other Web3 IPs were able to achieve. So I would definitely like be sort of delicate around understanding the market of today and what it takes to sell out a collection. Even I couldn't even speak to that because it's just a completely different landscape, and I don't know. There's just a huge respect to the collections that launched today, and have been able to build a community around that. I think, amazing examples, good vibes. They have
I love
sort of
it.
entered the space in a really organic way. Final Bosu, both of those brands have built up a community before launching the NFTs and have been able to sustain the community even today. So it's definitely possible. It's just yeah, you have to be doing it for the right reasons. But yeah, we have been able to keep this longevity, and we still are today. Yeah, I think Chimpers is in a really good spot now in terms of where we go from here.
I love this answer because it's showing that you can't just make collection, earn from it, and retire for whole your life. It's showing that you need to even work on your. It's like big meat giving you more maybe opportunities to do what you really dream of. So you need to love what you're doing from the start. When you start building something, at the same time think immediately like, do you like it, and are you ready to do this for years or
Oh
not?
yeah. I mean, yeah, like I might have misunderstood the question, but like, yeah, like in terms of like,
Correctly.
yeah, like we are so insanely passionate about this, and even during all the trials and tribulations, the bear market that we've endured for the past 2 years, where there's not been a lot of limelight on NFTs, and there's not been particularly a lot of spotlight on Chimpers per se. We've had to sort of grind our way out of that sort of difficult path, because it's not all smooth sailing. There's different challenges you have to face every single day, but I think when you have that sort of North Star and the potential that we have, it's it just keeps you going every day, and just I think with how insanely active we are, I hope it speaks for itself. We couldn't be more
Yeah.
passionate about Chimpers, and yeah, I think it's great when you have that, because you like I say, you can't lose when you are that determined.
Oh my God, thank you for these words. It really means a lot. So
Yeah.
it was an amazing conversation. Thank you so much. I really see that you are truly like genuine and passionate about what you're building, and this is amazing. And yeah, thank you for this amazing hour and a half almost. And my last thing that I'm asking to the people is to think and record, please message for yourself in a year. So year after you get back to this video maybe and listen what you tell to yourself. And wait, I will put you on the spot. Yeah, so
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
yeah, so record message for yourself in a year, please. Right now.
Oh, for me.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. For some reason I thought you was asking the audience.
No, no, no. Why I'm doing it, because that's for the viewer. It's a way to see we a bit, can see how person talk to themselves in front of mirror or something like that. How he talk with himself. So yeah, and for you, just maybe year after you'll back to this video and like interested in what I said to myself.
Yeah, I mean, so you would like me to give a perspective of where I would like to see myself in a year's time?
Oh, okay. People usually just saying like, good luck, continue, like, be
Oh, okay.
the same.
Um,
I love to hear it somehow how you understand it in personalized.
yeah, I mean, just off the top of my head, it's just keep grinding. I think that's the thing that keeps you going. No matter what, just got to keep hustling, keep grinding, and those pathways and doors will keep on opening eventually. So yeah, you have to break them down, like be persistent, be determined, and yeah, just keep grinding, I think I would say. And hopefully in a year's time, yeah, we'd be in an even better spot than today. So yeah.
Do you have any goal in a year, like what you wanted to?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'd love to see Chimpers, getting real sort of offline and online traction in the Web2 world, extending, not just our social media, but into like various other physical formats, whether it's, some of the things that we're working on now that will come to fruition, several months later, like, a card game, or, the blind box plushie line, retail stores where we're entering. So, yeah, if we're a year ahead and having success in doing all of those things, it would be definitely a big win. So yeah, and obviously at that point we'd have grown Chimpers, the community, and NFTs are in a euphoric bull run. And Chimpers is right up there. That's the ideal scenario. So yeah, we're just going to keep on grinding away and keeping Chimpers pushing as a beacon of what Web3 IPs can do to really champion the space and become a well-known global brand.
I love it so much, and I wish you it, and we'll be happy to support in everything that you are building. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all followed me on on YouTube, because I'm making all these interviews to help myself to grow. And to be honest, when I compare myself before all these interviews that I'm making right now and now, it's a huge difference. It's really helping to grow. So, guys, if you're watching this, I hope it helped you as well, and I'm trying to make it really helpful for everyone. Thank you, guys. And yeah, any last words for the people who are watching us? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. Yeah, you're doing great stuff. So everyone go follow. Appreciate the time, and yeah, make sure to jump in the Chimpverse if you're not already.
Yeah, I to be honest, I really want to jump on Chimpers right now and belong to a community, because I feel like I want, I purchase in NFTs when I want the same energy, and if I don't match it, for me, it's super hard to even hold this NFT. I'm trying to, somehow solve it quickly. And that's why I'm holder for NFTs that already die and can't sell them, because I feel like, we have the same soul. So
Yeah,
I will definitely feel the same with Chimpers, and I think soon I will become a holder. So thank you so much.
awesome. Yeah, no, thank you. Look forward to it. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. Have a great. Yeah. For you it's night too right now. So have a great evening, and yeah, thank you for joining,
Thanks
guys.
so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.